Hello, it's Nancy Juetten, and it's another great day for the Learn More to Earn More show. I am super excited about today's episode with Viveka von Rosen. We're going to be talking about LinkedIn today. We're going to talk about what's possible when you do it well. We're going to talk about what happens when you do it wrong. We're going to share some of the new power features that are available for you to unlock to your benefit. And we're going to talk about some of the tried and true things that you should continue to do and use so that your star can rise, you can connect with more of the right people, and most importantly, do more business. If you are joining me for the first time, I'm super excited that you are here. We had like 85 people join the group last week, and wow, awesome. Welcome to you. If you're not yet a member of the Raise Your Voice, Make Your Impact Facebook group, I'll be sure to drop a link in the chat below so that you can join us, because we are a group of 2,100 podcast guest experts, authors, speakers, and messengers who clearly want to learn more to earn more. And that's why we're belling up to the bar for today's live call with our amazing guest. So let me tell you about Viveka and why she's so awesome. And Paulette is here. Awesome. All right. Viveka von Rosen is the co-founder and the chief visibility officer at Van Griso, the world's largest digital sales transformation company. Known as the LinkedIn expert, she's author of the best-selling LinkedIn Marketing an Hour a Day and 101 Ways to Rock LinkedIn. She's a contributing expert to LinkedIn's official sales and marketing blogs and their sophisticated marketers' guides, and is often called on to contribute to publications like Fast Company, Forbes, Money, Selling Power, Entrepreneur, Social Media Examiner, and more. She takes the LinkedIn and social selling experience earned over the last 14 years and transforms it into engaging and informational digital sales strategies, tactics, and tools, including personal branding, social selling, training, and content for sales. Her business mission is to help sales professionals and business owners create more quality and qualified conversations on LinkedIn. When she's not doing that, she's either diving or hang gliding or hiking the trails near her Colorado home, basically anywhere without cell reception. How lucky we are to have you here with us today, Viveka.
My pleasure. Thank you, Nancy.
So before we get started, I wanted just to share something in the spirit of complete transparency to my audience, because there's a number of my clients who are watching right now, and we're having a challenge where we're reaching up to really cool kids to see if we can play together. And you were on my list. And how it all happened, for those who are curious, is I saw Patty Farmer post on one of the podcast collaboration sites.
Yeah.
She was looking for a guest. I thought, I know Patty Farmer. She's a rock star. I really want to be on her show. So what did I do? I went to her show and I looked at all the episodes and I asked myself, is there an episode right here, right now, that I can't wait to listen to so that I can learn to earn more and earn more myself, and also have the goods to write a spectacular 5-star review for Patty's show? And as I was listening to your show, not only did I learn more and earn more and decide to upgrade my LinkedIn profile, but I thought to myself, I wonder if she would say yes to being a guest on my program. And here you are.
Yes, absolutely. I love that. That's such a great way to get in the atmosphere of people that you want to work with and engage with. Is just like you would do in real life. If we were at a conference or a trade show, you might go see Patty speak on stage and talk to her after. And then after you talk to her, you might follow up with her with an email or with a LinkedIn invitation. And then you would keep that conversation going. And that's all we want to use LinkedIn, right? We just want to use LinkedIn to start and continue to have conversations with our prospects, whatever that means to you,
Well, and you're such a master at it, and you've helped so many people become masterful with it. So what are some of the wonderful outcomes that unfold for people when they do LinkedIn well?
Yeah, to my point, it allows you to have more conversations with the right people. So a lot of folks, well, I'll back up a little bit and I'll tell kind of how I got started. I had been introduced to LinkedIn from actually a friend of mine, and I thought, oh, this is really cool. This can really grow my business. At the time, I ran a co-share space. And so we had it was called executive officing back then, but co-share space now. And I would bring people in to talk about, things to our clients. And so my friend Lori came in and talked about Web 2.0, which shows you how long ago it was. Like the whole idea of the web being interactive, was amazing. Now it's just, we take it for granted. And then at the very end, she introduced this thing called LinkedIn. I thought, oh, that's cool. This LinkedIn thing is really cool. So then I got on LinkedIn. And then one of my heroes is a man called Bob Berg. He wrote Go Givers, Sell More, Endless Referrals, et cetera, et cetera. And I mean, I just gave his book to everyone because I just thought this is what I want for sellers, for business people in the world. Become a go giver, right? And this predates social media, by the way. And so I got on LinkedIn and I got on Twitter and said, I can't remember if it was on LinkedIn or Twitter, and said, hey, does anyone know if Bob Berg's on social media? And Bob himself responded, so very similar to what we did. Bob himself responded and said, yeah, I'm at Bob Berg on Twitter. It was on Twitter. And so we started a conversation on Twitter, and he invited me to his conference where I then met people who are still influential in my life and still good friends of mine and still went to my wedding 10 years later. People like Rebel Brown, Trey Pennington, who's no longer with us, Mari Smith, Nathan Latka. So these were folks who were just kind of at the epicenter, and this is like 2007 folks. So they were kind of like at the epicenter of social, and many still are. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. And that's how I started kind of my business, of which was then called LinkedIn to Business, and just growing through friendships via social. And primarily for me, it was LinkedIn. So anyone can do that. I was lucky enough to get the Twitter, the LinkedIn, the Facebook, the YouTube handle at LinkedIn Expert. So that's a little bit harder to do, is claim your space as far as URLs, but anyone can get on LinkedIn and really position themselves as a leading expert in their particular industry, which then leads to the conversations, to the podcasts, to the books, et cetera. That's how I got my 2 book deals. Is, in the first, Wiley came to me and said, hey, would you write a book on LinkedIn for us? Like, twist
my arm.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be so hard. And then National Speakers Association, which ironically, I didn't make enough money as a speaker back in 2010 to become a member, but they had me come speak at their conferences. And that's where I met my co-author, Dana Steele, who said, hey, do you want to write a book with me? So it really, you just have to kind of claim your expertise and then prove it. But LinkedIn, I think, is a great place to do that.
I love that. And we have Teresa's joined us, and
yay!
And we're going to be, one of the things I forgot to mention is Teresa was first to put her LinkedIn profile in the chat below today's announcement. Guess what? We're going to take a look at your profile, and Viveka is going to actually take a look at it and give you some thoughts. And maybe if we still have time, we can take a look at Paulette's if yours is in the chat. So if you're live with us now, be sure to drop your LinkedIn profile in the chat in the Facebook group so that maybe you'll get lucky. But love that story. Love that story. So, okay. So we know that it can open big doors. And a couple of other things we know is that the average income for someone who's hanging out on LinkedIn, isn't it considerably higher than the income of people that are hanging out on Facebook or some of these other platforms?
Yeah, I haven't looked in a while, but I know I used to quote it all the time. It was the average income of someone on LinkedIn was like 107,000. It might have dropped down to like high 90s, but I still believe that's higher than, even with all the instant influencers out there. I think it's still the highest average income for users.
So any coach, consultant, expert who is lamenting spending too much time talking to people that don't have 2 dimes to rub together to invest in their success, perhaps just that one factoid alone is enough for people to rush over to LinkedIn and say, maybe I should be upping my game over on LinkedIn. And so that being said, what are some of the biggest missteps that you see people making, especially if they're new to this platform?
Well, I'm so glad you said that. And because and we honestly, we didn't go over questions ahead of time. A lot of times when I do an interview, they're like, what are your 3 top questions? And then I send them back. But we didn't go over any questions. So I'm glad you asked that, because, one of our taglines when we first started Vengresso was creating more quality and qualified conversations, because exactly what you said, Nancy. And I think we've all experienced this. Like, inbound leads are great if they're quality and qualified, but if it's a bunch of people who want you to work for them for free, you don't need leads like that. That's just a waste of time, which becomes a waste of money. So one of the first thing that I always tell people, other than get the right mindset and understand this is something you need to make a part of your life, the second thing then is know your audience, and do not try to be everything to everyone. And I think that is one of the biggest mistakes. People get on LinkedIn and they're like, I can help anyone with a face. I can help anyone who wants to write a book. I can help anyone who has a car. I can help anyone with a computer. Then you're not going to help anybody. One of my friends, Angus Nelson, he's a coach, life coach. And a lot of people work with men, and a lot of people work with women, and a lot of people work with men and women, but they don't make it super clear what types of men, what types of women. And the one thing that Angus has just nailed is he works with a specific type of man in his coaching practice to help them get to the next level. So if you're a woman, if you're like, you've got a corporate job, you're not for him. If you're a woman, you're not for him. So he's very, very clear on who his audience are. Similarly with us, we help B2B sales leaders and sales teams create more quality and conversations on LinkedIn, prospect better, and sell more. So we're very, very clear.
Say that again slower, because I know you said it a million times before, but that was so good. And I want you to romance those words, because people are thinking, already, she really knows her stuff. I wonder if I qualify to work with her. Say it again like it was for the first time.
Sure. And the reason I said it so quickly is because I want to spend more time on everybody else. But we help B2B sales leaders and salespeople create more quality and qualified conversations on LinkedIn. We help you prospect better and sell more. And if you want to see that, just go to my LinkedIn profile. You can see it in my headline. You can see it in our background image. You can hear it in my name pronunciation, mini elevator speech. And you can see it in my video cover story. And I'll tell you what all those things are here in just a few minutes. But the first thing I want each and every one of you to do, get out a piece of paper, open up your notes on your computer. Who do you help and how do you help them? And get as specific and niche or niche, depending on if you're French Canadian or not, as possible, because trying to be everything to everyone is not going to help you. So get as focused as possible. Who do you help? How do you help them? And just know, the more focused you can get, the more success you'll have on LinkedIn. And then I have a lot of people go, but I mean, I can help men. I can help independents. I can help. Okay, yeah, you can, but who do you want to help? And then that's another thing, right? When I had LinkedIn to Business, which was my previous company, I was very much focused on women business owners, but entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, individuals. And to be frank, my average ticket was somewhere between 1,500. At the top end, I might be charging 20K for like a 2 or 3 day training, right? So it was good. Like I had lots of 6-figure years, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't who we're focused on now with Vengresso, with sales teams where, our average deal size starts at 20,000 and is often 2, 3, 4, 5, 600,000. And so you got to know who your audience is, and don't worry about helping everybody. Help the people who you feel passionate about or who can pay you. And hopefully the two are the same. But don't worry about trying. And this is obviously not just LinkedIn coaching. This is like business coaching 101. But once you've got that focus of who you can help and how you can help them, that's the messaging you start to bring into LinkedIn. So like, background image. You want to reflect who you can help and how you can help them. So jumping into Teresa's profile, I love it. So Kaleidoscope Media Services, her background image reflects media, the written word, the digital, video. So all three of those things are reflected right in her background image. Same thing with you, Nancy. You know, there's a picture of you speaking and your background image says Podcast Visibility Live Lab with Nancy. So that both you ladies have done a great job of branding your profiles with that background image. And so I would hope that everyone is making use of that. A lot of times what you use for Twitter, what you use for Facebook with a little finagling will pretty much fit in there. But you really want your message. Ours is Prospect Better, Sell More. Actually, the rest of the company is Prospect Better, Sell More. Mine has my book right now because we're promoting the book. But which you all can get for free, by the way.
Which is scrolling along the bottom of the
Yes.
screen, just in case you were wondering, because when you are a guest on anyone's show, you must have a call to action. And before we got on, I said, what would be your desired call to action? Lest there be any doubt, it is scrolling along the bottom of the screen. And my expectation is that hundreds of you will go and get it.
Exactly. Let's hope so. And it's the PDF version. I'm not going to mail you a version that you have to pay for, but you could definitely get the PDF version for free. We just need, your contact information, etc. So background images, I think, are really, really, really key. And of course, please feel free to use them across all your socials. You want that branding to cross through to all your socials. So that's one thing. The other thing that you and Teresa did really, there's my dad calling me again. The other thing that Teresa did really, and you did really well, is if you look at the very top where your browser is, right? It says linkedin.com/in and then / first name - last name, number, letter. You actually, on the top right-hand side of your profile, you can go in and customize that URL. Now, mine happens to be LinkedIn Expert. So if you Google LinkedIn Expert, my LinkedIn profile is one of the first things that shows up. And I don't have to pay for that. Like, think about the SEO there. Of all the people in all the world that are teaching LinkedIn, I happen to get the URL linkedin.com / in / LinkedIn Expert, which means my LinkedIn profile shows up. Now, these are unique. So if you have like Podcast Expert, chances are someone else has that, right? Life coach expert, consulting expert, whatever expert. Try, see if it's available. If it is, do a little happy dance. But if not, your name is what you want. Now, if you have an unusual name, like Nancy's last name and my everything name, it's probably available. And Teresa, you got your name too, which is great. Here's a little ninja trick. If your name is not available, LinkedIn will tell you, do first name - or first name _ last name, which Nancy, you did. I don't know if you tried to do it. If someone else has your name, it would surprise me, but you can do first name - or first name _. So Lynette, you got your name too, which is perfect. Paulette, you might be able to get your name. If not, again, just do Paulette _ or Paulette - last name. So that's what I would recommend for visibility. That is going to get you so much visibility, not only on LinkedIn, but on Google as well. So that's another thing. And we haven't even dropped down to our names and our faces yet. So let me move on.
So I want to ask people.
Oh yeah.
Value bombs dropped. Yes. Is this like having an image on your masthead for LinkedIn? Is that a new idea? Go ahead and post some love in the chat so Viveka can know that you are standing in rapt attention. No, keep going.
Now, if you're not, I'm graphically impaired, and thank goodness we have a marketing team who can do this for me. But if you're good with graphics, and you go to Vengreso Banner, that's one S. Vengreso banner.com. Vengreso banner.com. We've got the dimensions for both the background image for your company page and your personal profile. They're a little bit different. So for sure, go and create a background image. You can always go to fiverr.com, or if you're somewhat crafty, you can go to PicMonkey or Canva or easel.com. There's a lot of places where you can go to create graphics, and a lot of them already have that background image size there too. But vengresobanner.com, it's free. It's actually just a slide share. So you just go send it to someone who can do it for you or do it yourself. But yeah, that branding opportunity is huge. So please make use of that.
And
The
it would be
second thing, now I don't know
be
about Teresa because she's not on with me right now, but what Nancy's done really well is she looks like her picture. I mean, COVID hit a lot of us hard. Some of us gained 30 pounds. Some of us lost 30 pounds. Some of us grew our hair out. Some of us lost all our hair. You want to make sure that you look like your photo because we're getting on Zoom. I mean, we're meeting more people because we're digital right now than we did even before when we did conferences and trade shows, blah, 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 because you could only see so many people. But now there's kind of no limit. Plus, we're learning the importance of video. So if you're going to start using video content, whether you're sending, private video emails or you're creating video content or you're doing interviews and podcasts, we're on video and more people are seeing us. So if they see us and then they go to our LinkedIn profile and they're like, wait, what? We don't want that disconnect. We don't want that disconnect because it creates or it detracts from our credibility. We really, really want to be credible on LinkedIn. And so make sure that your photo is up to date. And then here's another ninja trick. If you go to your phone, you need to initiate it from there. So if you go to your phone and you go to the mobile app, either Android or iPhone, it doesn't matter. And then you go into your profile on the mobile app. It'll be on the top left-hand side. Your fat fingers will probably hit profile settings. Just back out and go back into profile. It'll look like it does on your browser. So you're in the right place when. If you click on the edit button, it's called the intro section. So your background image, your picture, your headline. If you click in there, what you're going to see is, back up. Sorry. There's two ninja tricks. I was going to the second one. The first one is if you see a little orange plus button next to your picture, it means you have something called video cover stories. Video cover stories. These are brand new. And you can only initiate this on your mobile device. You can later on see it on desktop, but you can only initiate it on your mobile device. So if you see an orange plus sign, in fact, just go ahead and everyone who's listening in, go to your phones, open up the LinkedIn mobile app. I'll do it with you. That way I won't go too quickly. Open up the LinkedIn mobile app. You might have to sign in again if it's been like 2 years since you were on your app. On the top right-hand side, you'll see the little picture of yourself, or if you haven't uploaded a picture yet, do so. But you'll see that little image up there. Click on that and then click on View Profile.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know if you can see. So
I see
you see the little orange plus sign?
I see it.
Okay. So that little orange plus sign allows you to create a 30-second video commercial. 30-second video commercial, which is simply who you are and how you help them. I'm getting some feedback. So
if it says view or edit profile photo, it also says add cover photo, or it says edit frame.
Add cover photo. That's what you want to do.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Add video, cover video, add cover video.
Oh, so okay.
Video cover story.
Okay, so let's just see what happens here. Oh, I see. Now it's explaining to me what to do.
Yes.
This is gold, people. Because people want to see you live, being your brilliant self. And if you want to be a
Exactly.
podcast guest or on a show or on a stage, they need to see that you've got charisma and presence and that you can put a sentence together in 30 seconds or less. Bam.
And our strategy for everything is who you help, how you help them. Who you help, how you help them. Hey, this is Viveka von Rosen, Chief Visibility Officer with Vengresso. We help B2B salespeople create more quality and qualified conversations on LinkedIn. Let us help you prospect better and sell more. Boom, video commercial, right? And so you just practice it, practice it, practice it. But there are 3 things that you can do with that new script. First of all, don't have CVO of Vengresso. No one knows what a CVO is. Like, is it the chief vitality officer? Is it the chief, Viagra officer? Like, what is a CVO? It's a chief visibility officer. And what's a Vengresso? Is it soup? Is it a car? Like, what's a Vengresso? Is it a Vengroso? Is it a Vengriso? Don't worry, everyone calls us that. So what you want to do is tell people who you help, how you help them, who you are, and what the name of your company is. And you use that for the headline. You get 220 characters where you usually have title at company. How many people have title at company right now? Teresa, even you, at least you have business scaling expert and podcast host. That's fine. But what else? So as a business scaling expert and podcast host, what businesses are you scaling? What types of businesses are you scaling? What size of businesses are you scaling? Are you helping, women-owned small to medium-sized businesses scale to 7 figures or more,
Bam,
right?
bam, bam.
Bam. And what kind of podcasts do you have? Are you looking for guests, right? And so we have Nancy's because she listened to my interview with Patty. So she knew that she knew this already. Guiding successful service-based entrepreneurs. Who does she serve? Service-based entrepreneurs. How does she help them? To book themselves on the right podcasts without hiring an expensive booking agency. Bam. There is no question what Nancy does. No question at all. And then we've got that background, podcast visibility live lab, right? And so we have that. And then here's what I love. Nancy took all of that and went an extra step. She keeps this evergreen, or evergreen's the opposite. She keeps this up to date. The next podcast visibility live lab is September 13th to 18th. You don't even have to look for it. She is telling you it is right there. And then when you go into her contact info, you can find out more about it. And then when you scroll down to her featured section, which is I say new, it's been around for a couple of years, but which is the new media section, you can see her shows, her self-publishing podcast, the speaker show. You can see all of that in that featured section. So Nancy, if you haven't done so yet, go ahead and pop your LinkedIn link into the chat. That way everyone can jump in and see what I'm actually talking about.
Okay, I'll do that.
And then the other cool thing, and this is all using that script, who do you help? How do you help them? The other cool thing also in your phone, also in that little profile section, is something called name pronunciation. Now, if you have a weird name like mine, it's very handy. And yes, the first thing I did is like Viveka von Rosen with Vengresso. And then I'm like, wait a second, I got 10 seconds here. I could be way more interesting than Viveka von Rosen with Vengresso, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm Viveka von Rosen, Chief Visibility Officer. Okay, you have to do it a couple times fast. Viveka von Rosen, Chief Visibility Officer with Vengresso, helping you create more quality and qualified conversations. So that's right. You got 10 seconds to tell people who you are and who you help. And let's face it, most people, you can hold their attention between 3 and 7 seconds. So 10 seconds is a bonus. If you can hold their attention, you might even go with we call it call to read, CTR. You can even go with that call to read first. Who do you help? Who do you help? How do you help them? And then who are you after that? So that's also on your mobile device. Now you can hear it. If you want to go to my profile, just Google LinkedIn Expert. Honestly, my LinkedIn profile will be like the first non-paid thing that shows up. So you can just go to my profile. You'll see a little sound icon next to my headline. Just click on RX next to my name. Just click on it and you'll hear me say what I've been saying like 45 times already today. And we're still way above the fold, right?
So what I
background.
wanted to say is I just briefly popped in my LinkedIn profile in the
Yeah.
crawler across the bottom of the screen.
Yeah.
And Paulette, if you would do me the favor of popping that LinkedIn profile into the chat portion. For some reason, I don't know how to do that, but if you would do that for me, that would be so great, because I'll also post it in the show notes so anybody who wants to check it in. But what I want to say to Viveka right now is that because I was doing my homework about Patty, I went and
Yeah.
listened to your show. And then I think I listened to your show like 2 or 3 times with her. And then I'm updating my LinkedIn profile with your
Yeah.
tips, because I'm thinking I want to be current, I want to be relevant, I want it to be clear, I want it to be compelling. And so I did everything that you so generously gave. And so the other thing that I wanted to like call out, in case it's not at all obvious to everybody, is generosity is so powerful. I mean, you could probably say, oh yeah, but if you buy my book, or oh yeah, if you decide to be one of my 7-figure clients, like you're just pouring it on, like pouring it on. And I think that that's really what my audience appreciates. And I think it's what a
Oh,
lot of
sure.
audiences really appreciate. So I just wanted to ask Paulette if she would post that in the chat, and hopefully she will.
She did. She did. I see
Oh,
it
good,
in
because
there.
I want to
Yeah.
take that down, because I want it to be all about you. And we're going to put you back up there as your crawler. There you go. So,
Awesome.
all right.
All right.
All right. So we've got a new image, and we've learned
Yeah.
how to put video in a 30-second commercial. And
Commercial.
we've
Yeah.
learned to use our 220 characters in our headline to be even more specific and terrific about who we
Mhm.
help and how we help them. And I know Teresa is already
Yeah.
rushing to her profile to make it better. Like, what else do you got?
All right. So, and we're going to continue on this focus on your buyer instead of yourself. So, a lot of people, understandably so, have, a more traditional bio in their about section, or they literally just pulled stuff from their resume. So, what we want to make sure that people do is focus on your buyer. So, you're talking to them. You're not talking about yourself. You can talk about yourself down in the experience section. The about section, which is somewhere, depending on how LinkedIn is feeling that day, somewhere between 2,000 and 2,600 characters, you get to tell your story. Now, when you go to someone's profile, you'll only see like the first 3 lines or so. So you have to grab their attention. You have to say something that's going to make them go, oh, I got to go read more. So we call it a call to read. And, it just, think about your buyer persona, think about your best client. And again, this is why you have to be really focused on who your best clients are. Think about your best client and what is their big point of pain? What are they always dealing with? What question are they always asking you other than how much is this going to cost me? Right? So for us, it's like, we know our company needs social selling, but we don't know what to do. We don't even know how to start a social selling or a LinkedIn program. So we address that. It's 2021. The world has changed. You need social selling. How do you deal with it? Like, you ask that question, and of course, the answer is in the next 2,000 characters or so. And you focus on them. Just think of it as a sales page, right? You focus on them. What are their needs? Eventually, once you've addressed how you can help them, you can pull in little mini testimonials with people's permission. Of course, you can say other people like them or other companies like them that you've helped. You can, with their permission, of course, say, I helped this, this solo entrepreneur who had never been able to get above $70,000. She went through my coaching program. She broke 6 figures the next year, and now she's, making an average of $700,000 a year because she did my program. Better yet, she writes that for you, or he writes that for you. Better yet, they create a video testimonial for you, which you then upload into the featured section. Because part of creating a buyer-centric profile is offering your media, offering content for them, like testimonials, or maybe you've got like a kick-ass, checklist, or maybe you've got a white paper or a case study, or maybe you've got a free book. And
So could I ask a
yeah,
question? Just curious. in
Yeah.
that featured section,
Yeah.
is there a limit to how many things you can feature there?
Not really. And so people are going to see the first 2.5. So if you've got 3 things uploaded, they're going to see 2.5. Then it turns into a carousel and they'll see the images of up to 7 pieces of content. And it can be links to YouTube videos. It can be documents that you upload within limits. It can be it can be a post that you've already shared on LinkedIn and that you've clicked you pin it essentially to your profile, you feature it, and then it pulls it into the featured section. After that, it then just turns into a list of documents. So you can have hundreds of documents. People aren't going to go through them all, but they're only going to see the first 3 on your profile, 2.5, and then they're only going to see the pictures of the first 7. So, for most people, I'm just like, add some new ones, and then all the other ones will just kind of push back, push back, push back. But
So is
like
it first in, first featured, or
it used to be, so technically it's first in, first featured, or last in, first featured. So the last thing you added is the first thing that people will see. But now you can move them around. So for instance, for you probably want to add every new podcast on there, but you've got this new event coming up in September. You want that one to be the first thing that people see. People can scroll through the carousel and listen to your other podcasts. But that one that you really want people to see is that sales page for your boot camp. So
okay.
you would just keep it there. And then as you add new content, you would scooch you'd scooch the new podcasts underneath. There's like we call it the hamburger on the right hand side that you can just pull up and pull down. So that will allow you to order your content in whatever order you want.
Oh, very helpful. That's so good. That's so good. Wow. Well,
So
so
that's
Lynette and Teresa and Paulette and Spencer, what questions are coming up for you? Go ahead and post them in the chat, because this is a unique and distinct opportunity to talk to the LinkedIn expert to up your profile and up your game. So what are some of the tried and true things that we should be doing every day, because they're classics and never go out of style?
perfect. And Spencer, I am looking at your profile right now. Networking pet advocates globally. I mean, boom, there we go. We've got the logo on the top right hand side. We've got kind of that interesting, the interesting visible. What I would say, Spencer, is you're looking off to the side. Look at the person, right? Take another picture, upload another picture where you're actually looking at the camera. There's something about looking away instead of looking at the camera, i.e. your photo being straight forward, that it instills trust. If you're looking at the person through your LinkedIn profile, it instills trust. Plus, if you do that video cover story, here's a real, I need to do this. I haven't done it. It was really, really cool. And I can't even remember who did it, but they took their picture on their phone, and that's the one that they uploaded. And then I'm assuming at the same time they did their 30-second video cover story. So it literally is their picture that starts talking. Now, if you go to mine, I have my photo shoot picture and then I have my video. But Spencer or anyone else on the call, if you're comfortable doing so, take your picture on your phone, upload it as your image, and then do that 30-second video and then upload that video. And then your picture will literally start talking to people. It'd be so, so cool.
I know that Diane Ployce has done that. And if Paulette, if you would find Diane Ployce's LinkedIn profile and drop it in the chat, I think that would be an excellent way to demonstrate how cool that is. But I want to address Lynette's question. She says, hey, I went there. There's a plus sign by my name, but nowhere to record the 30-second. Do we do that on our telephone, or how do we do that?
Yeah, you do it on your telephone. So and that's why the first time you do it, it's easier to do. And it's sometimes only available on your phone. So yeah, you're going to shoot it on your phone. You're going to do it vertical, not horizontal. So do a vertical video, 30-second video. Oh my gosh, I did 40 takes. if you're awesome, that's great. And if you can do it in first shot, that's great. But you want to shoot that video first. And you might have to do it more than once. So you want to shoot that video first, keep it under 30 seconds. Once that's done, go back into your phone, go up to your profile, hit the plus sign, and then you'll be able to upload that video. It does not have to, you don't have to do it like live on the spot on LinkedIn. You can absolutely shoot that video ahead of time on your phone.
Okay, very good. So Lynette, I challenge you to figure that out, and I will take on that challenge myself and get that figured out so that we can demonstrate that we are action takers and results makers that belly up to the front row when we get an expert like Viveka on the line. And we will also look super cool to people that are looking on our profiles, because they're going to be thinking to themselves, how did she pull that one off?
Exactly. I have to do it. It's just one of those things. So the other thing that Spencer's done really well, he's using the new creator mode. So here's all the benefits. And then the one downside, I don't actually think it's a downside, but the benefits of the creator mode, which you will see when you go to your profile and you go down kind of to the dashboard. If you have the option, it'll say creator mode on off, and you can decide if you want to turn it on or off. And then I'll actually get to answering the question you asked me. What are some things, some more things that you can do to create that visibility and that expertise? So what Spencer has done is he's turned on his creator mode, and he's added 5 hashtags that he hopefully uses in his content. And what that does is, it shows up on his profile. And then when he uses those hashtags in his content, inclusion, listening, social impact, collaboration, and wicked problems. I love that. When he uses those hashtags in its content, LinkedIn is like, okay, he's got a creator mode. People are interested in what he has to say. Look, he's chosen social impact as one of his keywords, and he's using social impact in his videos and in his and in his content. We're going to make that visible to more people. So that's the first thing that happens. The second thing that happens is LinkedIn pulls up your featured section and your activity section higher up in your profile. So your featured and activity section, which are both about creating content and sharing content that's useful to your audience, that shows up higher than even your about and your experience and other things like that. So it makes your profile very, very audience focused, which is what we want. And then if you have LinkedIn Live, it actually plays when you go live on LinkedIn, your background image turns into the live broadcast. Very cool.
Okay. So because video is the thing, and because I happen to have gotten a preview of that particular tip that you gave the last time, I actually went to LinkedIn and I applied to be approved
Live
for video. And when I went there, I was sort of winking and grinning, because they were basically saying, we don't publish our specific criteria as to how you will be selected, but these are the things you need to do to activate on your profile so that we can at least take a look. And I did all the things that they said you were supposed to do.
Yes.
So,
and you want to show LinkedIn, listen, I'm a giver. I'm always sharing content. You also want to publish or at least share links to other lives that you're doing. So obviously you grab the link from, say, this live and put it on your LinkedIn profile so that they can say, okay, she's doing lives already. She's already using, software, in this case, Be Live. They want to know that you're willing to make the time investment to do a live, and that you're savvy enough to figure out how to use the software tools. So I think LinkedIn is the only social platform, I could be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's the only social platform that won't let you go live natively. You have to use a tool. We use StreamYard. There's Restream.io, which, by the way, you can get a lot of feeds on Restream.io for free, but I just like the StreamYard software better. So we pay for it, and my company pays for it. So I think Be Live might be one that you can stream from, but you have to use a third-party tool to stream, and you have to show LinkedIn that you can do that. And by the way, you might need to apply more than once. I've talked to people who've applied 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times before they got it. Now they are opening it up more. People who've been waiting and waiting literally for years to get live, they're starting to get it. We finally got our company page live. So just know you might have to apply more than once. And just to see where to apply, just literally Google, where do I apply for LinkedIn Live? And it'll bring you to the page, or we can put it in comments or something, but just Google it. Where do I apply for LinkedIn Live? It'll bring you to the help page, which will bring you to where you can actually do apply for live, which then, like I said, so cool, both on your company page and or your personal profile, just depending which one you get, it turns that background image into a live stream. So cool.
I
And
am so
Spencer,
excited to make that
yeah.
happen. And I have
And
another question that's kind of a
yeah,
sidebar question, but I think it's
yeah,
something that I know we have a number of authors on the line, and I'm
yeah,
an author too. And
yeah,
your book was published by Wiley,
yeah.
correct?
The
And
first
so
one was. The second one was God, what's
which
the
one
name of
is
the
the second
publisher?
one?
This a Daily Success. I'm like, who's our publisher? Dana did all that. So the second one is 101 Ways to Rock LinkedIn. Do not buy the first book from Wiley. It's so out of date. Oh my God. It's like, and no one has an hour a day for LinkedIn either.
Okay, so
It-
here's my question.
yes.
And I realize this that I'm this is a self-interested question. You
Yes.
have a book that has that you can put on the shelf. You have a
Yep.
digital book.
Yep. Same book.
Right, I get that. So sometimes authors get so attached to their books
Yeah.
that they want people to buy them. If I
Yeah.
give away my book, I'm going to give up all those sales for that book.
Yeah.
And I love that you're being
All
so
$18.
right, right. So you're giving away
Yeah.
101 ways to rock LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And when people go get that book, that's the call to action that, of course, we want everyone who's watching live or by replay to go and get. But once they've read the book, what is the
Yeah.
next step you are ideally wanting people to take in your direction?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of giving away for free. I really, physical books are a really expensive business card. I think I made total on, and I get that there's people who make millions of dollars on books, but I'm not one of them. LinkedIn marketing an hour a day. I think I made like maybe 18 or 20,000 on that. And then this one, I don't know, like I could buy coffee for a few of you. It's not about making money off the book. It's about creating for the physical book. It's a really cool business card that people are a lot more likely to keep. For the PDF version, it's about getting that expertise out there. A lot of places, if you're a speaker, they won't let you speak unless you have a book. So great, I've got a book now. In fact, my friend Andrea Walsh, whose book Go for No, she's all about the micro books. She's all about the 80, 100, 120 page books. Most people don't care how big the book is. And in fact, salespeople, this is like super easy to read, like lots of white space. They just want to know that you've got a book. So it's just about positioning yourself as an expert and really getting your name and your visibility out there. It's not about making money on the book. It's about the speaking gigs. It's about getting the customers. It's our thank you gift. We give the PDF to all of our clients. We couldn't afford to if we were paying the $5 for printing and the $9 for shipping or whatever it is. We can afford to do that if we were shipping the physical book. But it's a thank you for being our clients. Plus, we've got some helpful tips in there. So don't think about I'm going to make money with my literally off the book. Like can I use my book as a vehicle? And then when you think of it that way, heck yeah, give it away for free. Of course, we're also gathering names. So the other thing that we're doing with our book is pulling you into our funnel. It's our top of the funnel. There's no investment other than your name and email address. So that's our top of the funnel. And eventually from that huge funnel, we'll get down to the sales leader or the sales professional who reaches out to a sales leader and says, hey, we really need to get this Fangresso company in. And then, like I said, it could be a $20,000 gig. It could be a $400,000 gig.
Well, that's exactly what I was hoping you would say. Thank you so much for debunking that, because sometimes we get so attached
Yeah.
and we don't realize that it's the top of the funnel. It's not the main
Yeah.
event. It's not
No.
the flagship. It's not that thing that, if you can So I know we've hit that point pretty well. There's a couple of questions coming in that I want to make
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Someone says, Teresa asks, does writing articles on LinkedIn help drive traffic to your page? And if so, how often should I be writing and posting?
Okay, yes and no. So articles were fabulous back in 2014. They were new, and LinkedIn was like, oh, let's give you the most views I ever got on any piece of media I ever put on LinkedIn was some of my first articles, which got hundreds of thousands of views. Now they get like 8. And I'm not even exaggerating. But when you go, Teresa, into the area where you write an article, so for the rest of you who are like, what's she talking about? When you go to the homepage, and up at the top, you can write an update. You could upload a photo, blah, blah, blah. One of the things you can do is write an article. When you go there, see if you've got the option for the newsletter yet. Articles, meh. But if you get the option for the newsletter, oh my gosh, jump all over that. Now, I am furious with my marketing team because I got the newsletter option and they are not making use of that. So Stacy, Sham, Diego, if you're listening to me right now, like seriously, you guys are totally missing out. The reason they're doing it is because it's my personal profile, not our company page. So the newsletter, you get followers on your newsletter. LinkedIn sends your newsletter out via email, and it looks like LinkedIn, and it gets through many, if not all, of the spam filters. And it's insanely good, and people are getting thousands of followers, new followers, and hundreds of thousands of views. So articles, meh. Newsletters, heck yeah. And you go to the exact same place and it's the exact same process. You do have to make the commitment. You might want to spend a little time, money, investment on your branding. You want to have like a content calendar and an idea of what you're going to do with your newsletter. For anyone who's writing a regular blog, it's a no-brainer, marketing team. Are you listening to me right now? No-brainer, marketing team. And so, it's just one of the coolest things. And for a long time, nobody could get it other than like special people on LinkedIn. But now,
Special people on LinkedIn.
Special people on LinkedIn. Yeah. Guy Kawasaki. My friend Peg, who does all of Peg Patrick, who does a lot of guy stuff, and my other friend Jeff Shee, who does a lot of guy stuff. I'm like, how did you get newsletters? They're like, we could tell you, but then we'd have to kill you. So now most people can get it. So that was a really long answer to articles. No, but yes, see if you can get newsletters. If you've got that option when you go into articles, grab it and go with it.
So I want to say something here. People are saying, best advice of the call. Wow. How soon can I hear this again? So I want to share. Here's what's happening. We're live right now in the Raise Your Voice, Make Your Impact Facebook group. And every Monday I drop an amazing live call right here. If you're not yet a member, go to getknowngetpaid.com/group and get yourself in there, because this is the kind of guests that we bring that pour so much value. And oh, by the way, as soon as it's done, I'm uploading it to YouTube. You'll be able to see it there. And if you're not a subscriber to my YouTube channel, what are you going to do? You're going to hit that red subscribe button and you're going to say, I'm subscribing, because if I get to see this Viveka interview 5 more times this week, I'm going to be better off for applying and deploying every single juicy morsel that you poured on today. So I hope that Lynette and Paulette and Teresa are breathing a sigh of relief that replays are available, generously shared. And here's my ask. If you loved this, will you please post a comment that you loved it? And will you also share it with at least 5 more people? Because all of us need to have a bigger quality audience of qualified prospects who can do business with us. You guys are quality. Share this out with 5 to 10 more people so you can lift up the boats that Viveka and I are rowing. Can I ask for that commitment from you today? Would you please do that? Let me see some yeses. Someone says, loved it, but I don't see the yeses. So bring on the yeses, people, because anything less is not good, is simply not good enough. So as we get to the top of the hour, Number one, we know that people need to run and not walk to the crawler along the bottom of the screen to download 101 Ways to Rock LinkedIn. And I want 100% participation, and I want it to exponentiate by 10 when you share this out. I'm looking for a commitment, so put some yeses in the chat, people. What else shall we do to move closer in the direction of your expertise and refer amazing people who would be great clients for you?
Well, and thank you for bringing that up. So since we've only got a few more minutes left, you know, the first thing you want to do is continue to share content. You know, if you can't get newsletter, there was a quick question, very quickly I'll answer. You post your article as your company page. When you go in there to post an article, it'll open up a new page. And on the top right-hand side, it's just a little orange button that says newsletter or post a newsletter or do a newsletter, something newsletter, little orange button, top right-hand side, only on browser, not on phone, as far as I know. So that's how you get subscription. But even if you don't get subscription, share content, make yourself visible. If you're not sharing content, you're not top of mind. If you're not top of mind, you're not getting referrals, which was my second point and my ask. I've got two asks. First of all, please feel free to invite me to connect. Just customize the invitation. Let me know you were on Nancy's show. Otherwise, I'm at my 30,000 limit, and I'm probably not going to kick someone out if I don't know who you are. So if you haven't been active in the comments and I don't know who you are, just say, hey, I was on Nancy's show. And by the way, it'll look like you can only follow me. That was the other issue with creator mode. It changes your connect to a follow, but just click on the three dots. Or more, depending on how you're looking at my profile, and you'll see the opportunity to connect there. So then always customize that invitation. And then the final thing is ask for recommendations, kind of how, Nancy went to Patty's podcast, heard me. Nancy, I don't remember if you asked Patty for the introduction to me or not, or if you just dropped her name. Yeah.
I came to you cold.
But did you drop her name at all?
I did drop her name.
Okay, yeah.
I did drop her name, but yeah.
Yeah. So feel free to either ask, like in this case, you could have either asked Patty to introduce you to me, or you could have just name dropped, which is absolutely fine. When you go to someone's profile, you can see who you have in common. So if Nancy, I wanted to connect with Lynette or Spencer or Paulette or Teresa, if I went to their profiles and you were already connected to them, I know I could ask you for an introduction. I could literally say, hey, Nancy, I was really hoping you would be willing to introduce me to Lynette. Can you let her know that I've got a free book I think that she's going to find useful? And, just let me know if you're willing to introduce me or not. And if you're not, I'll just then go to Spencer and ask him if he's willing to introduce me to Lynette.
I would be happy to introduce you to any of these fine people.
But do it on LinkedIn.
That they do the thing that we've been asking them to do, which is to
exactly,
because none of us gets out of here alive, and none of us gets our goals accomplished alone.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. Referrals on LinkedIn. See who you have in common and use LinkedIn to get that introduction, drop those names. And that's my final gem. I have 100. I have like 98 more. So
I
get the book.
I cannot thank you enough for your generosity, your content, your specific, terrific guidance. I see lots and lots of love in the chat. I know that you will be getting many, many more fans of your brilliant work. And if there's anything more that I can do to support you and your success, please ask. It would be my pleasure. I've got a Rolodex the size of a wagon wheel, and I want to make sure that I do everything I can to use it for good and profit, and for those people who have been so generous, such as yourself, to be here on the Learn More, Earn More show with Nancy Juetten. It's just been a blast. So thank you so much. Let's be sure to share the love with Viveka. Is it Viveka?
Viveka. Yeah.
Viveka. Everybody share the love. Share this out with 10 more people. The rising tide lifts all the boats, and we're all going to some cool place where the sun is shining and the beverages are cold and refreshing.
Indeed.
All right. So that's what we have for today. Be sure to tune in next week for another amazing episode. You know who I'm talking to next week? I am talking to Michelle Shibnell of Group Coaching Success. And if you've been thinking that you need a group coaching program and that you think that group coaching could be an even better way to deliver the value versus one-on-one, you are not going to want to miss this amazing interaction that I'm going to have with my good friend, and she really is my good friend, Michelle Shibnell. We actually went to Greece together. So it's going to be
That's
awesome. So
awesome.
if group coaching success is on your mind, be sure to tune in next week and we will be sure to drop the value. And in the meantime, run and don't walk to get your copy of 101 Ways to Rock LinkedIn, because anything less is just not acceptable. That is
That's
all.
right.
All right. Thank you all so much. We will see you next time.